And welcome back to Career Build Series, episode 231. And so we're going to continue on with the water bombing theme here. I'm going to take my Firebug, which is my little automated coaxial helicopter here. I made this in a live stream, and the whole point of this is to start fires. Unfortunately, even if you select the forest fires on option, it's not making forest fires, so I needed a way to do this, so I'm using flares with this. So this essentially, I can put this out there, send it out, and it will automatically start a fire for me. So let's go ahead, and again, we're still kind of in the testing phase for all this, so we're going to set a fire right about here. So I'm going to set a waypoint. All right, we're going to go over here, and I'm going to enter that waypoint in. All right, now I'm going to jump in here, and I'm going to go altitude hold, heading, bearing, station keeping. Then I want to do, look at my H menu here, I have arm flares. That also sets the current position of the vehicle so that this can come home. 2 is parking brakes, 4 is activate gyro, and 6 is start stop. So I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me make sure and then the next one is 6. All right, and that will start us up. I just need to clear it because I will hit my head on the rotors. All right, we'll wait till this is up. Just checking the RPS, make sure that gets up to RPS. Okay, good. And we hit autopilot, and it's off. So that will go over there. It will station keep and head to the waypoint. Once it gets to the waypoint, it also auto ground follows. So it's going to keep 60 meters above the ground. That allows it to drop the flares right over the treetops. What I'm hoping for is that we get a mission, an actual mission spawn in to put the fire out. So let's see if that will do it. So while I'm here, I'm going to get a little bit thematic. And we'll grab some firefighting gear. And I'm going to go ahead and switch out my cloth to firefighting gear here. I don't need the Arctic clothing anymore. Let's get rid of that. And let's go ahead and bring that back. All right, and we'll go ahead and get rid of that for now. So what I'm hoping is, let's go ahead and we'll follow Firebug here. Firebug is slow. Firebug is not designed to be super duper complicated or anything. The whole point of Firebug is to start fires, and it was to be as easy as possible. And so I just used the helicopter from my coaxial helicopter tutorial. And all I did was pretty much put the autopilot parts on there that I needed and put on the parts to get this to dump flares on the forest. So pretty simple here, pretty easy. It's going to fly over there and start the fire. So it's pretty slow. You know, I have no real issue with that. The main thing I wanted was automation. I don't need it to be instant. You know, I had some other thoughts of doing some ballistic rockets to go do it and all sorts of other stuff. But this is just super simple and easy, and it works. And that's one of the most important things, is just to make it work. And so as you see, we're getting close in the forest here. As you can see, I can run and pretty much gain on this. So it's again not intended to be fast. You know, and a lot of this is going to be behind the scenes work. You know, unfortunately, even though you select the forest fire option on, the game does not populate forest fires. You need something to precipitate a forest fire. So often natural disasters, you need a meteor strike or something. So you need a meteor strike to luckily hit right where you want it, to hit some trees to start a fire. I wish the devs would just work on this forest fire thing. I think it would add a lot, you know, a lot to the game, the ability to do these instead of us having to set our own fires. That would be nice. But as you can see, Firebug is following the contours of the Earth, so it's just using a distance sensor, and it's maintaining its 60 meters above. And so this is good for things like the tree line. It will stay above the tree line, and I can just set that. But as you can see, the only issue this would have is if it went over a body of water. So you wouldn't want to send this over a body of water because the distance sensor reads all the way to the bottom, and so it's not reading the water. I could put a condition in there pretty simply that, you know, it also interrogates the altimeter, and so if the altimeter is less than the distance sensor, go with the altimeter. You know, that's pretty simple, easy logic. So let's actually just no clip and we'll follow it in and see what it's doing. But going right in the middle here, and it's going to start the fire. Did some more work on the water bomber. There we go. So it's going to launch those flares, and as soon as it launches the flares, it starts heading home. And so this is just so that you can easily put it back on the workbench. It'll go home. It doesn't have a long range. You know, you'd want to launch this pretty close, but this should definitely start the fires. As you can see, you know, we should get some fires pretty quickly here once these are burning. So it has quite a few flares to get the fire to precipitate, and so that works pretty well. And you know, I need to try infrared flares. I'm not sure if infrared flares will start a fire. I just don't like how bright these are. I tend to wait till they go out anyway, just because that also gives you a bigger fire. There's no point in going out there and having a piddly little fire that you put out in 2 seconds. It's kind of nice to actually have to fight a fire and spend a little time doing it, you know. So we do have fire already right there, as you can see. We have fire right there. We also have fire, it looks like, I think we have some fire right there. Yep, right there on this tree is on fire, I believe. So definitely already have some fire started. And let's go ahead and go back, and I'm hoping we get the mission to pop up. I'm not sure if it will. I think it does, but I don't know. So again, all part of the testing phase, see what it's going to do. But no mission yet. And so I'll check back in with you guys in a second here. Right, and that actually didn't take very long at all. I was only had it paused out for a couple minutes. And if you look there, Firebug, as you see, is on our way back, but we just got the mission here for it. So it is populated mission. As you see, it popped a big section here. Forest fire, extinguish the fire before it spreads further. It shows us a big ring. Of course, we know where it is. But so this is going to work nicely. And so one thought I had was I might make it so that it has, say, 4 or 5 random, not random, I'd set them in, but you'd essentially say, you know, I know this forest here and here and here, and maybe put 10 forest areas in there and have it randomly select one and then do that. But you know, most of it's, the fun of it is me going and putting them out. And so, you know, we just got the mission. We have Firebug coming back right now. Let's go ahead and I'm trying to see if I should wait. So Firebug's taking the time to get back. Let's go ahead and let's get the turboprop spawned and gone. Firebug will eventually run out of fuel too. All right, so here's the turboprop. I did a little work on it. You know, people kept telling me I should put it on the seat. Yes, that was always the plan. Just wasn't done with it. And so it is on the seat now to make it a little bit easier. But that was always the plan. Again, not always done with things. All right, so starting it up. Let's go ahead and set up notch flaps. I'm going to turn the sounds up just a hair. Always hard to tell them how high I want the sounds. Generator's on for that left engine. Let's go battery B's on. Check the N2. N2's up. Generator's on. Beacon's on. So here we are. We're getting our call for the fire. So let's roll. All right, let's go. Alright, so Firebug should be on the way back. I have a feeling Firebug might have crashed on the side of the hangar or something. It wouldn't surprise me. It's super. That's hilarious. It's on the roof. That's good. I like that. Let's take a picture of that. Firebug landed on the roof. That's good. I like that. I was wondering where it was. I knew it was close. That is pretty funny. Yeah, it's a super simple thing, you know, and it's a little bit jittery. And you know, I talked about that in the live stream. Why it's jittery is it's based off of it essentially took Katie's autopilot systems, and so there we go. New forest fire, location marked on the map. So this is working well. I don't know what, you know. It seems like something easy for them to do. They can already put fire sprites in. Why can't they put them? You know, why can't they fix that? I generally don't like to complain, but that's kind of silly. So there's my fires. All right, so I don't want to be going fast. You know, same thing for when you're doing ground attack. You don't want to be going fast. So about 100 knots here is going to be best for me. Let me trim. Just like real life, you do have to trim. Constantly trimming in a real airplane. And you have to in game as well. All right, so here we are. Let's go ahead. So I'm going to prime my water dump, and now it is on my space bar. It's going to precipitate it. So the space bar is also my brakes. So, you know, this works out well. I usually use that for that sort of thing. And, you know, this makes it nice and easy that I can just tap that. So the waterfall is pretty late, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to split the fire. Actually, I'm going to cut it right here, try to hit the perimeter. So coming over it right now, let's go into third and hit it. All right, so I can hit it really late. And so this is also preserving a lot of water. We have about 7,000 liters of water. Realistically, that's probably a lot, you know. You figure that's pushing 14,000 pounds. It'd be 13 or 14,000 pounds of water. That's pretty, it's a lot, you know, for a plane this size. I'm not 100% sure what the capacity could be on something this size. I'd have to look. You know, it's kind of the size of a Beech 1900 maybe. I'd have to see what the gross takeoff weight is of a 1900. All right, so that's putting out nicely. So, you know, as long as you catch these early and you kind of have some good methodology for your firefighting. But as you see, this plane is really nice and maneuverable. You know, I'm cutting in a little bit quick. You know, extending out a little bit helps with getting on target, but doing all right here. So we're going to do this one from the cockpit. I was going to set up a camera, but I don't think that's really advantageous. I think it's better just to hit it with the... you know, just to hit it when I get over it. So I'm going to extend out a little bit more on this one. So we're going to do a chandelle. So we kind of pull up and we do a banking turn as we do it. And then on this one, I'm going to do a dive in. So here's my big chandelle. We're over 90 at this point. It's pretty extreme in an aircraft like this to be going over 90. I won't say that I've done it in an aircraft like this, but not really legal. So that was a good hit. So we're kind of, you see I've kind of split the fire, so I'm going to keep, I'm trying to do it quickly because I want to stay on station. You know, some people have commented, you know, oh, a helicopter would be better. I don't care really what's better. I care what's fun. You know, I play the game to have fun. I don't always need to do what is best, what is quickest. I really have no love for metas. I want to do what's fun, and so having a water bomber is very fun to me. And water off. So getting good at kind of timing the water here, and so that's part of the testing. So a little bit of opposite rudder will crank you right over. You know, the quickest way to do a roll is a snap roll with rudder. You do have to be careful in real life, though, snap rolls. I've snap rolled a couple times, and it is the way to, it's definitely the quickest way to roll your aircraft. You do have to be careful you don't break the tail off. Nice. So getting good with this and not overusing water. Like we're barely down any. And you know, 90-degree banks, especially hauling this much water, would be a death sentence in real life. You know, we're in kind of open area, you know. But, you know, I'd have to look at wing loading and see what the wing loading looked like on something like that. But, ooh, getting really good drops on there. All right, so I'm going to start hitting the margins. I'm going to try to hit the edges. So there's a way over 90 bank and a rudder turn. So really cranking on this one. So this one is that was a hard crank to get back over. And so I'm going to try to start hitting the perimeter here, see if I can't stop the spread. So right here on the edge. Good, so that's cutting nicely. So the more quickly I can return, the better. You know, Katie does have a Bambi bucket too, which, you know, especially with the new multiplayer update, it would be nice to get into some of this. I'll talk to the SRS guys. They do a lot of forest fire fighting. And kill. So nice. So it's putting it out nicely. Whoa, 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 don't do that. I don't fly well in third person. As a real pilot, flying in first person is my bag, and so it freaks me out pretty quickly if I'm in third person. You know, I just instinctually, I know how to correct something if I'm first person, and less so if I'm in third person. There we go. And so the lower I get, the more likely the water hits its target as well, so you can definitely tell it's putting out fire when you're watching. It's just, you know, the fire is continually spreading, so I'm trying to get back and hit it as often as I can. So we keep trying to bang in there, see if I can't put it out. Trying to go after the perimeters, again, like you saw. You know, it's spread... see, I'm going to screw this one up. I think I need to do a bank in here. So I did a big rudder kick there, trying to hit it, so we'll see if it even hit any. I think it did. It put some out. You know, but this I think would be fun in multiplayer, putting fires out together. You notice my gear goes into transit, and that's because as I pull G's, I don't have uplocks on my gear. And so it's yanking the gear down. And then you see I pushed them back up in the wells, so there actually is G-forces in this. Fire water off. So this is working well. I'm liking this. It's preserving the water really well. You know, I also don't want the fire to go too quick. You know, I want to be on station. You know, I can go refill this. I want to have some reason to keep doing this, you know. So kind of split the fire here. And so I'm kind of seeing how long it takes for it to trail off, so I know when to start. So I pretty much start as soon as the plane is right over the wall of the fire, and then I pretty much kill it right when I hit the next wall. So I can get back on target pretty quick here. Opposite rudder, opposite rudder, opposite rudder. No aileron at all in that one thing. And let's go. So you can see my gear doors in the front are open. You would not be wanting to do a looping chandelle on this. But I do. Let's see, this water, you know, in game the water will hit that. In real life, there's just no way. You know, it would disperse crazily. And you wouldn't want to do a negative G like that. Negative G is a good way to break the airplane. It's a good way to put every bit of dirt that's on the floor in your face. Negative G's just send all the dirt from the plane right in your face. It's no bueno. Water on, water off. Nice. So that's, I'm trying to hit the perimeter on some of these, trying to split the difference a little bit. So, you know, it keeps growing out, of course. So I'm just trying to slow its progress. You know, I should be hitting the same area, but it's tough because I'm making my turns so tight. They're overly tight. There's just, you wouldn't want to make them this tight in real life. Nice. So it's hitting pretty well. You'd want to go outbound a little bit more before you come back in. I just doing this for fun. It's a little bit more fun coming in. There's an over 90. And so if you're going too far over, you actually lose aileron effectiveness, but you can kick opposite rudder, or actually, you know, same rudders, you know, left rudder, and that would start to push you back over here. Now let's get a good push on that fire there. Nice, nice, nice. That ate up a good bit of fire on that one. Doing too many negative G's here. I like to fly realistically, so every time I do too many negative G's, especially with all that water sloshing in the tanks, they probably have baffles in the tanks, but you would not be wanting to put all that water negative. You'd rip the tanks off the floor, so you'd definitely not be wanting to do negative G's. Positive G's are fine. You know, you wouldn't want that many positive G's. You have 14,000 pounds of water sitting in there. You know, that would be dangerous as hell, so definitely not negative G's because, you know, think about it, the plane is designed to have weight sitting on its floor. You just have some thin bolts, you know, some not very heavy-duty bolts holding the tanks to the floor, and then you do a negative G, well, it's 14,000 pounds with the force of the G-forces trying to rip the bolts out of the floor instead of just, you know, pushing it down on the floor. You might, you know, if you do 2 G's, that 14,000 pounds of water is now about 30,000 pounds of water. you know, and 28,000 pounds of water, you know, and so that's not great, but the floor is designed to have the weight sitting on it. The bolts would now have, you know, 28,000 pounds of force acting against the bolts. You'd rip the bolts off. So you definitely, so like airplane might say you can do negative, you know, 1G, well, let's see, about probably negative 1G, I think a lot of them had. So that's essentially, you know, the force of 1G, but negative, you know, because if you have 1G, the force of negative 1G is actually 2, because you have to subtract the first G, and then you have to subtract another G, and so that might be how many negative G's you can do, and you might be able to do, you know, 5 positive G's on the plane. And then your G limit changes on your weight. Again, you know, you're multiplying it out. So, you know, if you have 5 G's and you have, you know, say a seat that weighs, or you have some object on the floor that weighs 1,000 pounds, well, now that object weighs 5,000 pounds. Well, the wings might not be able to, you know, take the force. That was a good turn. I like that. Yeah, that worked out well. But so this is good. It's not putting it out too fast. You know, I don't want to make it OP. There's a reason why I have the number of nozzles I have. Is kind of the plumbing reasons and the water pressure reasons. So I'm happy with it. And I also want this to take time. Again, you know, I want to actually, I don't want, you know, for me, it doesn't interest me putting it out in 2 seconds. I need to have strategy here. I need to see what's working. I want to play with it, you know. Water off. That was a good hit. So I'm starting to hit the perimeter here. And you see that one section? I'm starting to get ready to actually put that out. So let's go, and I'm doing a pretty much a rudder aileron turn here. I'm gonna do a really hard crank, and I'm gonna try to put that section completely out, which I almost have it out. I'm gonna do a really heavy water saturation on that, and I'm gonna try to hit it very precisely. My turn's not great here, but I'm gonna try to get it, so right there. Try to get this last section here. It's already split up from its partners there, and I'm gonna try to hit it. Water, 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 off. All right, and so you can see I'm gonna try to come around. That bottom section there is on its last legs, so I'm gonna try to hit that and put that out. If I can put that out, I've split the fire there, and I don't have to worry about that south section anymore. So I was kind of just hammering it whatever area I could until I kind of saw where I could put it out. And so now I kind of see it, so I'm going to take a long approach here. And I'm going to pull the throttle back a little bit. A little fast here, a little faster than I like. I've been increasing because you want to increase power when you're piling on G's. All right, and hitting this section here. I want this section out. Okay, so you see we knocked some of it out. Keep trying to hammer that section, try to put that section out, so. It reignited some of the trees. It was almost out, and then I hit a different section. I should have made sure I hit that. So I'm going to try to crank in there fast and get it before the fire can spread. There we go. I'm going to go hit this line right here. I'm going to try to focus right here and hit this. Water on. There we go. Almost out there. Let's keep trying to get that one section out. If I can get that section out, I can start working it section by section. Getting slow, power, power, power. Definitely don't want to get slow in a climb like that. That's why I was getting, you know, I had a little bit of speed as I put on a little extra power for those climbs. All right, here we come. We're right on the money here. Water on. Hammer it, hammer it, hammer it, off. Nice, so that's doing a pretty good job there. Third person woes again for me. Like, see, I can go full over 90s here and crank it back. No problem. I lose no situational awareness. You put me in third person, I start freaking a little bit because it's just unnatural to me. See that section of fire to the left there that is presently by itself? That's our next target. So we're going to do a right. I'm going to do a flat turn here. We'll do a really flat bank. Check our water. Still a lot of water. We only used about 1,000 liters so far, so this has good staying time. Plenty of fuel. Well, let me check my fuel. Fuel's getting low just because we didn't have much in the bench. I'm actually on the career build series save. Come on, come on. I want to get this one section out here. Right there. See it right in front of us? Hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it. Trying to there we go. So that's out. So now that section here is protected. Chandelle helps me, it slows me down a little bit, it helps me to see, like, in real life, my speed would be dropping off like a maniac right here. I'd have to go probably full thrust to make a turn like this because you're trading your energy, you're trading the energy, you're essentially changing your velocity vector to get that turn in that tight. You're using your energy, and water on, water off, water on, water off. Okay, good. So now see I've split the fire. Let's get this, and I'm gonna kind of follow the perimeter. The water propagation is pretty good. The fire propagation is pretty good in this. Actually, it's yeah, spreading nicely. It spreads in that nice ring shape, which makes sense. It's going in all directions. You know, I wonder. I have the wind turned down. I wonder if wind affects it. I've kind of kept the wind down, so I'm not having to deal with it, but. Do I do a lot of rudder as you would in real life? A lot of people, you know, think that you don't do any rudder. You do when you're doing these kind of aerobatic maneuvers. You need to use a bunch of rudder to get the plane settled. To get the plane both settled and unsettled. Like I'm tapping in left rudder to get the plane unsettled over because you start to lose effectiveness of your aileron. Now I'm kicking it back to get it to roll right. It feels very realistic to me. I missed pretty much everything on that one. That was a bad turn. I'm rushing my turns now. I need to kind of not do that. So just kind of checking the fire where I want to approach from. So like I led that one with rudder. And now I'm all aileron. Now I'm doing some opposite rudder to kind of stop my roll. You need to do that. You lose aileron effectiveness at some point. You need to kind of also use your rudder. See, I'm leading with that. Get a little bit of a skid going. So a skid is if you're turning outside of your turn with rudder. Now, see, I have the plane very unsettled. I'm going to use some rudder to bring it back. Water. And water. So I'm trying to get that fire contained there. So the south side is going to eventually run out of fuel. So I'm sorry, the west side is going to run out of fuel. So no panic there. I just need to tap the rudder a little bit to give me a little aileron effectiveness here. I'm going to cut in. Cut. Water, 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 water. Pitch, pitch, pitch. The one thing there is I didn't have enough pitch to get myself out of there. I got myself into a death spiral, which is a real term. And so I needed to use a bunch of rudder to help my aileron roll me out because, again, I need to change my lift vector. My lift vector was too much into the turn. I got into a little bit of a death spiral there and had to get out. So, you know, people will often say in the game, oh, the game doesn't you know, they don't fly right, they don't fly right. They fly pretty damn well, pretty realistically. I think just a lot of people don't have aviation experience and don't realize why it's actually doing something, don't understand the aerodynamics of what's going on. Because it does, like, I literally did almost get in a death spiral there where I couldn't undo my bank without opposite rudder, and that opposite rudder allow me to roll out, and if I couldn't roll out, there was no way I was saving it with pitch. So you know, doing all these things at once, you know, so, you know, as somebody who's a professional pilot, you need all these skills to be able to understand what to do in some of these, you know, split-second decisions that you need to make. All right, so I do have a handle on this fire. It's you know, it's taken a while to put out, but I'm happy with that. You know, I want this to give me a reason to keep playing. So just keep an eye on fuel here. Should put a low fuel alarm in this at some point, but I just haven't done it yet. All right, so I'm trying to keep this section here from reigniting here. So let's water this. I'm going to keep my water on because I will need fuel before I'll need water. So I'm going to really saturate it. But I'm enjoying doing this. This is fun. Maybe we'll grab Katie in the Bambi bucket to finally put it out, but I'm enjoying using the turboprop for it. And again, like I said, I don't like metas. I'm not interested what puts things out fastest, what's, makes me the most money every, I don't like making $1 million in a second. I want to do what's fun. I really love water bombers. I've always loved water bombers, and it would be a job that I would love to have, um, you know, and so that's exciting to me, Whoa, whoa, here we go. We're done. Just a second of not paying attention here, and that's all it took. Fuel cut off. All right, we're in the crap now. So I'm trying to shut everything off, but where's my master? I can't get everything off because so fuel cutoffs are off, but we're in deep trouble here, as you can see. That's no bueno. That's no good. Yeah, that was, I got myself into an unrecoverable maneuver there. Alright, so I'm just gonna yank it back in the bench. Wow, what's this? Why the okay, so, see, they're just all crossing? That's interesting that it does that. Yeah, see, it's just crossing all the sections. I'm just gonna yank this back on the bench, seeing it's loud. Why can't I? Oh, it's because I'm up here. That'll be why. See, it's still up there. Where is it? Is it not up there anymore? Where is Firebug? Oh, Firebug's perfectly up top here. That's funny. Alright, so Firebug's sitting on top. Let's go ahead and let's grab Katie and finish the fire with Katie. So I really never got a good chance to play with Katie and the Bambi bucket because, the firefighting issue here where we just don't, I wasn't getting forest fires. So here's Katie's Bambi bucket. And I want to make sure that I don't have a, oh, this has to be pasted first. I'm just trying to make sure that the water spawner doesn't have water in it. Okay, good. And then I want to go to rope. And then I want to go from the winch to here. Yes, we'll spawn. All right, so here's Katie with the Bambi. And let's go ahead and get rocking and rolling here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to feed out as much cable as I can. So I can't, when that is full of water, Katydid is not strong enough to go with the propeller mode and go fast with it, which is kind of what I wanted. Again, Katie is not designed to be a heavy lift helicopter. And so that's plenty of cable out. I should be able to traverse at speed a little bit with it like this. So let's go add a little bit of propeller. We're not going to go a ton of propeller. So Katie should be able to put the fire out quickly. Why is it still going? No, I did a looped. That's why. It's set up as function keys so it can operate multiple things. So they're set as pushes instead of toggles. Alright, so here we're going. Have Katie put out the rest of the fire. Katie should be able to put it out quickly. Again, not looking to do what's most efficient all the times. Sometimes I'm just looking to do what's fun. And so I really enjoy the water bomber. That's a lot more fun to me than just slowly dropping water over it with a helicopter. Katie should be able to put this out really quickly. What would be nice is having doing this in multiplayer with somebody and having even if they just want to run the water pump. Like in real life, you'd have spotters. You have lead-in planes that fly over the area and have larger aircraft follow them in because they're talking to people on the ground, telling them where to drop the water. Be nice to have somebody in a helicopter doing precision drops the whole time. You know, I don't want that water bomber to be too efficient either, because it destroys any notion of having one that's bigger. You know, I want to have one that's maybe bigger at some point. So I think it's F1. So let me look. I can't see. I'm gonna go ahead and pause this really quick. Here, let me do F2. Not F2. Jeez, if I can remember. Okay, so see the door is open? This is how you get a Bambi bucket to fill quickly, is so the door opens up, and then you can dip this in the water and it will fill up on almost instantly, and that's how a real Bambi bucket works. Is they're like canvas bag, no, not necessarily canvas, but they're like a bag, and you just dip the bag in the water and they fill up, and then you control the flap at the bottom to release water. So this, when it dumps that, you'll know it's full, because watch, it will drop to the bottom. Okay, so see, it's all the way to the bottom, it's full. Now we close the door and we are full of water. Somebody put my, okay, they better not put my fire out. Oh, it was the other mission, okay. So I cannot go, I can't use the propeller when I have this bucket full, and that's by design. Is I need all the torque for my rotor blades. I cannot have the torque for my, you know, for the propeller. The propeller steals torque from the engine. Again, this is a tiny aircraft that's not designed to be, you know, doing heavy lifts. So again, I build each craft to have kind of a niche it fills. Katie's designed to be small, you know, and so if I made Katie too big, that would make it so there's no point in having a bigger helicopter, you know. I'm not interested in having dual vehicles. I really kind of like having multifunction. So we can add a little bit of propeller here just to keep our deck angle low. But we can't do too much because we rob too much energy. That water bucket weighs too much. Alright, so I'm just still adding a little propeller. Trying to see where I can get. I'm going about 30 knots towards the fire here. So there's definitely more of a meta to put this out, but again, very rarely do I do what is meta. I like to do what is fun, and I definitely wanted to do some Katie as well, so this will be nice. Let's go ahead and let's kick off the propeller. I'm waiting to get over the fire. Should have pulled up that harness, but whatever. All right, and now the next function button there. So I always do these multi-functions on my winches. That way I can hook up different attachments and have them work. And so you use the camera here to get over the fire. And so we're almost over this section of fire right here, the end of it. And so I'm just waiting to get it right over and activate the water. And you can kind of see. But you see, this should be nice and easy to put it out. So there's that out. The other thing I want to test with this is how close do I have to be to put things out? And not really all that close. You know, I can kind of be pretty far away to be able to do this. I am in the treetops there, so I have to kind of be careful of this a little bit. I don't want to hit the trees. Okay, so that one just lit up right behind it there. What's my altitude here? Let's do 250 on altitude. I'm going to kill the water for a second here before I run out of water. Altitude hold. What's my heading? Let's do 270 here on the heading. Keep that from being annoying. Alright, heading hold. Alright, so let's put this fire out over here. Let's grab a quick pick while we're at it. Let's see how low I can get. Like having a good picture here and there. That doesn't show me anything. Alright. Alright, so let's get right over this fire here. Let's turn the water back on. Nice thing with this too is because it's, you know, it can go and suck water out of the lakes. So that harness I should have pulled up, but see I'm putting fire out there. Let's go a little bit more. Put some more fire out. That one's out. Let's get this next section here and then that south section. So shut the water off for a second until I get over it. All right, we're over it again. Let's hit the water back on. Right over it now. Is that almost out? I think it's out. That's out. Okay, good. So even with the monitor, I can see pretty effectively. So, all right, let's go. What do I want? Trying to do heading here. Trying to figure a heading. Let's do 060. And start putting this fire out here. That was a good guess, 060. And so we have a tree right there on fire, so I'm going to try to get right over it before I activate. There we go. Activate the water. Right on top of it, pretty much. Come on. Back a little bit more there, guy. Come on. There we go. If that fire's out, start pushing up. Now let's add, what do I want? Let's go to, I don't know, 100 heading maybe. Yep, that'll work. Let's do 120. Yeah, so this is just keeping it a little bit easier for me to focus on the fire if I'm having it do that. How's my length? Pretty good. Okay, there we go. Let's get that back on the fire. Getting some heat even up here. A little bit of a lag, you know, on because there's, you know, you have that on a cable, so you have to keep that in mind that it's going to swing. So you need to keep the swing in mind and let it swing. Kind of do a little bit of third person here, trying to knock some more fire out here. So that's out. So I'm leading the helicopter where I want it, and then wow, it reignited all behind me. That's interesting. Wonder if it's based on temperature. It must be. Because, like, see, that's out. I was hoping that it would keep it out, but see, it's reigniting fires to my south, which I put out. That's interesting. I definitely don't want to be doing these concentric circles with the bucket. I'll kind of stop that swing. See, like that one reignited there. See, they're reigniting, so it must be temperature-based. So that's interesting. So, but that's interesting. So let's go ahead and let's head back. I'm not going to keep playing with this fire, but, you know, so this will be, I think this will be a lot of fun. I would like to get, you know, talk to some guys from SRS and see if they want to do some firefighting at some point together. Yeah, I know Jan's latest, the Skylark, is a water bomber. It'd be nice doing, you know, kind of formation water bombing runs. That would be fun. I'd enjoy that. They also have a lot of ground vehicles. Kind of doing some multiplayer like that would be fun. Have, you know, have people calling in where they need some help with the fire. That would be kind of interesting. So I think this was neat. You know, I'm glad that I have a way to precipitate some forest fires now with the, you know, with my Firebug there, my little automated helicopter. That really is a neat way to do it. I think it's you know, it's something different, and I think it's fun. You know, it should be interesting. Yeah, it's an easy way to do it. You know, it comes back home. It's a little bit quirky, but it's not bad. You know, it landed on the roof, which I think is funny. But you know, it's definitely a cool little way to start fires, and it lets me automate it. And again, it would be nice if the devs fixed it so that they started. You know, if you select the forest fire option, it should give you forest fires, but they need to be precipitated by something. They should just be fire sprites that just start a fire, you know. And it you know, it knows, you know, as long as you put in where the forests are and you say within this area, you know, start fires randomly, you should be able to do it, you know, pretty reliably. Okay, let's go ahead and shut down. All right, so I enjoyed that mission. I enjoyed doing some firefighting. Of course, it's not out, but you know, this really shows the efficacy of one thing I like. You know, is having a bunch of different aircraft actually, or not aircraft, but having a bunch of different craft that are necessary Oof, that's annoying. It does that. It launched its flares. Ugh. But let me get out of this so you don't have to watch this. But yeah, it'd be nice if that happened. One thing that's cool is I like that it definitely seems like you need a bunch of different vehicles to help. It makes it so that it's water bombers aren't OP. Even that helicopter bomber, was the helicopter with the Bambi bucket was not was not putting it out super fast. You saw how it took some time to put it out, so it gives some efficacy to needing multiple people doing multiple jobs. It's going to make it so that you're going to want some people on the ground with trucks. You're going to want some. The nice thing with the airborne equipment, one of the reasons why they use airborne equipment is, like if the fire's in the middle, it's going to be very hard for a truck to blow through all these trees to hit it. But now, as it's at the perimeter, truck can put the fire out there. So like grabbing some SRS's firefighting equipment, their trucks. That would make sense to hit the stuff on the perimeter, and then the stuff in the center here where they can't really get to, that's what you'd be water bombing. So the water bombers would hit, say, here. They would be hitting the perimeters more. You'd work together to maybe the water bomber hits the same spot, trying to knock it out quickly, and then as the trucks are moving, it might take the truck a while to get up here. They might not be able to see where their flow is, but you as the water bomber could do a flyby and say, a little bit more to the south, a little bit more to the south. You're right on target. And then strafe left and right, strafe left and right. And you as the water bomber could be dropping your water right on top, and then they can kind of see from their vantage point where it's coming. But this is really neat. I think this will add some fun gameplay. It would be nice if the devs would fix it so that you'd get some spontaneous forest fires, but instead of complaining about it, I will put in a request, and I will link that in the video description. I'm trying not to just be negative Nancy. If I have a complaint, if I have a suggestion, I'm going to try to actually put it in the bug tracker where it's supposed to be, and I'll add it to the description, and if you guys are interested, you can support it. So I will see you guys in the next one.